Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics. Right, where is he? I'm sat here on my Todd. I can't do it from my own.
I'm here. I'm so sorry. I know you were late not so long ago, but
True.
my story is not quite as exciting as yours. But I was on the motorway, or as it will be known today, the world's largest car park. A lorry had very inconveniently burst into flames, so I stuck behind that. So as you do, you get the old sat nav and you take a detour. Off on the detour I went. Some bugger crashed or got stuck on the detour, so I had to detour the detour. And I'm here, and I've got beer. We're all good. It's fine.
All right. Okay. Take a sip. Take a deep breath, because, you know, as if you haven't had enough diversions for one day, we have a delightful diversion this morning because we have another guest.
We do, yes, and that's why I was so concerned that I was running behind and I wanted to be here, because we have an amazing guest joining us, someone who can only be described as mad because you're about to work with her and she wants to do this. I can't fathom it.
She's asked me to join her rep season. We will discuss more, but I mean, it's funny because you're going to be working in rep this summer.
Yes.
I've got a rep this summer. There's a little crossover there, and we spoke to the very talented, very lovely Andy Linfield a few weeks ago. So without any further ado, let's meet another person who takes everything by the bull by the horns, grabs the opportunity, and is making theatre. She's in the waiting room now. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet the wonderful, the lovely, the very talented Sue Gilroy. And it is hello and welcome to Drewling Samantics to the lovely Sue Gilroy. Sue, how lovely to see you.
Hello, lovely to see you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Sue, we've known each other for years, and we've done a few projects together, and we're about to do another crazy thing together. We're more of that to come. Meet Sam, my podcast partner. As you know, we've been doing Drewling Samantics for getting on for 4 years now. We're in our 11th season. People still seem to like us. And they'll like us even more now we've got you on.
They can't shift us. I don't know if it's they like us, mate. People haven't managed to get rid of us yet. But as you say, with the wonderful Sue Gilroy on their screens or in their ears, what more could they possibly want? But as Drew said, you guys have known each other for a long, long time. I only know of you by reputation, Sue, which I can promise you is all good. Obviously, why would it be anything else? But many of our listeners and viewers may not have had the pleasure of either seeing your work or meeting you. So would you mind awfully, for those people that have not had that joy, just explaining a little bit about who you are and what you do, please?
Who I am and what I do. I'm Sue Gilroy. I am a theatre maker, I guess, mainly director, and I like to add dramaturg, although I'm not entirely sure I know what it means. So I do most things in theatre. I have in my time been in most roles in theatre, and like to concentrate on being a director where I can. That's the very short version.
I love it. Beautifully succinct. I mean, what more do we know? Now, you said something there that I've always been intrigued by. You said dramaturg. Now, I remember doing a fringe show years ago, and there was a dramaturg, and they were very excited, saying, "We're going to have a dramaturg in the room." And I didn't know whether that was a kind of dog or whatever. I'd heard the phrase. What is it? And this guy arrived, and he was immensely knowledgeable, and he arrived with the hugest pile of books that has ever been brought into a rehearsal room. What is a dramaturg, Sue? For those people like me who go, what? You know.
Well, I did a couple of online workshops during the Unwelcome Visitor that we had a few years ago, and a couple of them were about dramaturgy. And I think people have different ideas, but one guy said there are 3 different types of dramaturgs. There are ones who know the canon of theatre stuff. So if you've got like the National Theatre, they'll have a dramaturg. So if you're going to be doing a certain play, you might do a Shakespeare play. They might say, oh, are you aware that there's another more modern play that's kind of complement to that? You might want to consider putting that in your season.
I
So
see.
that's one type of dramaturg, which I am not. I mean, if the National Theatre want to employ me, I'll give it a go. Um, um, the other two types of dramaturg, one is one who works with people who are devising. So if you're devising a piece, it can be quite helpful to have someone outside saying, yeah, that storyline isn't quite working. Um, you know, because I did a devised piece when we were all actors in it, and it was about war. And we had two characters, one of which was great fun. It was the generals, and we were having great fun with it. And I suddenly said, hang on, I think we're making war look fun here, and I'm not sure that's what we're trying to do, taking it into schools. So I've done a bit of that. But I think also dramaturgs, sometimes the people who work with writers, and I've done a lot of new writing and worked with new writers and helped them bring it to the stage. So those are as I understand it, and I may very well be wrong, those are the three types of dramaturgs.
I mean, yeah, I think I've worked rather with we did a piece called I think it was Antonio's Revenge. It's a very old Jacobean tragedy, and it hadn't been done very much, but lots of plays have been written, revenge tragedies from this piece, and people they needed it. We're gonna revise it, and the guy came in, as I say, with this massive pile of books and was very, very knowledgeable. And we were going, is it possible? Can we change that bit? And he goes, no. Otherwise, you're not doing the essence of the piece. So we were pulled back from. It was semi-devising and resurrecting this piece. It was great fun. It had one of the most goriest scenes in it that I've ever been in on stage. We had to sort of hang, draw, and quarter this guy, and we had it was the stage manager's idea to have real entrails, and went to the butchers every day and got pigs bits and bobs, and completely ignoring the fact that the lead was vegan, and this for him was utter torture.
Wow.
Poor man was going through hell. And anyway, that's when you need a dramaturg who's a butcher going, well, we'll pull back on that. But you mentioned new writing. I mean, we've worked together when if you've done everything in theatre, and you've worked stage management, company manager, DSMs, everything. But I worked with you recently, and a couple of years ago now, on Invisible Me at the studio theatre in Wimbledon, which Sam came along to see. So you've seen. I didn't know you were in that night. You were seeing that the product of Sue's work. Is it exciting to? I mean, this is of course it is, but do you particularly enjoy taking new work and directing new work? Is it something you love particularly?
Oh, I do enjoy it. I mean, having a living writer is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's great on one hand because you can say to them, I'm not quite sure where you're going with this. What was in your mind when you wrote it? And when they explain it to you, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. And that helps you. But it can also be the other way where they go, no, you can't change that. no, that full stop's got to stay there.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I worked with a guy in Coventry on a new play, Fighting Irish, and he was so free with his writing. He went, there it is, guys, do what you like. 3.5 hours of script. And we're going, oh, where do we start? And it was like, do you mind? And he would go back and go, yeah, I've never liked that bit. I don't know why that bit. Well, that goes then, And we spent 3 days sitting around a table until we all got so massively bored of just reading it. We're going, should we just do something? The director was climbing the walls going, so yeah, we had, we didn't have a dramaturg on that. She was a theatre analyst.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come across that one? Theatre analyst. Yeah, that's what she was. I don't know what she was there were moments when we all needed some counselling, I think, and some analysing on that one. But
another thing I've done with my equity branch, we used to do they were called rehearsed readings, they weren't rehearsed. If a writer was writing a new play and they'd kind of got a first draft, we would get professional actors to read it for them, usually on Zoom, for free.
Yeah.
And I just found it so incredibly helpful to have professional actors reading it and hearing it read properly. And also then giving feedback and saying, well, I'm not quite sure why my character did that or why they did that at that point and things like that. And yeah, we did several of those, and the writers really appreciated it. Quite interesting.
There's a lot. Sorry, Sam.
That's right. I was going to say, so is there an element? So obviously, as Drew said, you've done sort of every little different bit of the business as much as you can. Do you think all creatives have a certain place they need to get to? So for yourself, obviously, you've performed, you've been part of writing, directing. Have you now found where you think you sit and you feel most comfortable and most creative with the directing side, or do you still like to dabble in different areas and kind of do a bit of everything?
I still like to do a bit of everything, yes. I still dress. For the last few years, I've been dressing every Christmas on A Christmas Carol at the Old Vic.
Oh, wow.
Which is great fun. It's a lovely show. It's a lovely show to work on.
And I mean, that is far away from being at the forefront of directing. That's a completely different skill altogether. So, I mean, actually, so I think that's probably, I don't think we've really ever gone into that, have we, Drew? So
We haven't, no.
Explain to people, when you say you've been dressing, perhaps for those that don't quite understand the terminology there, fill us in a bit more about exactly what goes on in that respect.
Oh, yes, when you say you dress people, they say, well, can't they dress themselves? And to be fair, most of the time they can, but often they can't if it's a quick change or there's lots of costumes. So as a dresser, you're usually assigned to an actor or a room of actors or a certain set of actors, and you make sure all their costume is there at the start of the show. You take it to where it needs to be, what might be in the dressing room. But if you're on a show like when I covered on 42nd Street for a while when the tour came into town,
Wow.
and the girls got dressed at the top of the show in their dressing room, came down to the stage and never went back to the dressing room.
Wow.
There just never was time. They just had so many quick changes. So you take downstairs to the stage the costumes that you need, put them where they need to be. And you can't always put them where they need to be at the top of the show. When I was dressing on Me and My Girl, there was a kitchen set, and I used to hang a costume on that. And I thought, oh, I'll take it down early and hang it on, because then it went on stage with the set.
Oh, no.
And then you help do quick changes. And it varies how many dresses you have. I think we had 8 or 9 on Me and My Girl, because all the principals had a finale change. But on the tour of 42nd Street, they had 18 dresses.
Wow.
That's insane.
But on a straight play, you might only have 1.
Yeah.
Exactly that. But the one that sort of, I think, probably gets the most publicity is on Shrek, where the actress playing Fiona goes from her human ensemble, if you like, to her then ogre. So there's costume change plus makeup change plus it, and there's you only have to go on Google, don't you, and you'll see lots of videos of that happening backstage. I think at the quickest it's something like 25-second complete change or so. It's madness, absolute madness. But again, another unsung element or role within the theatre world. But we've all done quick changes or all had to do rapid sort of costume adjustments or whatever in between scenes or in between characters, and yeah, we owe a huge debt to those that do what you do. But equally, as we said, that is just a mere part of all these different roles that you take on at different times. So do you feel so that you have to kind of go, right, well, I've done directing for the past 18 months and I'm stuck in my own head, I need to take on something different? Or do the roles just kind of all blend together and fit in quite nicely?
Just take what comes. Take opportunities as they arise. Go with the flow.
So the question has to be asked now then, because we're in about approximately a month's time. You've decided, I think bravely, to become a producer, not just on one play. You're going to be producing 3 plays in the Marine Theatre in Lyme Regis. And there's the poster. There it is.
Look at that. Yes.
So we're doing Gaslight, Taking Steps, Dial for Murder. We're gonna get you to give you all your links in a little while, because thankfully you've honoured me by asking me to do Gaslight, which is a wonderful play, which we'll chat about more in a minute. But the question has to be asked: what are you doing? So, R18, our costume changes and producing a directive not enough. What made you do this? Because I mean, the challenge is 3 plays in 3 weeks. I mean, it is. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's 12 plays in 12 weeks, 10 plays in 10 weeks. It's still that very quick, short rehearsal, quick changeover, rehearse during the day while performing at night. It is an enormous ask of anyone, but you're at the helm of this, you crazy mad woman. What have you done it for?
I'm not sure. You and I have both done weekly rep before.
Yes.
We met, I think, in Torquay, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yes. And I just love rep. And I think it's sad that there's so little of it for many reasons. I mean, you get all the older actors, Judi Dench, Brian Blessed, people like that, saying, what a shame there isn't rep anymore. Because it's such a good way into theatre for audiences and performers.
Yeah.
A lot of people in those days got their basic grounding in the rep. And I think if you can get audiences interested in going to rep, then they're more likely to go to other theatre as well. My parents did their courting at the rep.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, they used to go every week. They might not like this week's play very much, but they really like last week's and they're looking forward to next week's. It's just what you did. Wow. And I'd like to sort of bring that back. There are so many good things about rep. The way that it interacts with its local community, that it is such a good training ground for actors, because we'll have some new people coming in and they'll be able to watch you, Drew. And as an experienced actor, they'll learn so much just by working with you.
Crikey. No pressure then.
Don't blow his trumpet any more than he already bloody does. Jesus.
I better start learning the lines now. But no, I mean, the community thing is very, because the plays is a midweek changeover. So you'll do the show and then Thursday, Friday, the next show will open. So, and I couldn't work out why that was. Then people said, well, you silly sod, if people are on holiday at a holiday venue, they'll go twice in the week. You go, yes, of course. But that is very important, isn't it? Is from a commercial point of view, getting an audience in. But it is important to because there are loads of beautiful little theatres all over the country, underused. They're not huge houses, but there is that community connection, and putting on theatre that is watchable, and good classic plays. I mean, I love doing it, and you and I met doing that. But also there are those, you've got it now. You've gone, okay, we're going to do these 3 plays. What happens next for you is what other steps to creating that theatre, which you have creating that company and season? What have you had to do?
So many things, and so many still to do.
I'm sure. I
mean, the first step is getting the plays, finding plays that you want to do, that you think will be popular, and that you can actually cast. And then you've got to get the rights for them. So you've got to get permission, and they want to know exactly where you're doing it, how long, how big the theatre is, what the ticket prices are, and then they want a large advance from you.
Right. Yes, that's one of the main bits at this stage.
Yeah. And 2 of them did ask for very large advances, and I was able to talk them down a little, which was good. So that's the first step. And then getting a poster done. The poster was done by a friend of mine who's a designer. And so that took a while to get done. But I do love it. It's beautiful.
It's lovely.
So yes, now I've done most of the casting, but I've still got to do that. I've got another stage management person. I've got to organise scenery, props and costumes, places for people to stay. That's proving tricky because Lyme Regis is a really, really busy holiday resort. Accommodation is expensive. So there's a lovely lady down there, Jenny Waldron, who's getting hold of everybody she knows and says, would you like to have an actor stay with you for a couple of weeks in the summer?
Yeah, they're all going, no, actor, no, certainly not, no.
Yes, as long as it's not that small man that does that podcast, yeah, absolutely fine, thanks.
I'm all right, mate. I should be camping. I'm going under canvas for my time down there.
Well, if you get washed away, we know what's happened then, and don't
exactly. Yeah,
so obviously it's not as simple either as going, right, well, if you were producing one play, then you'd have this set of things to do. You're producing three, so it's three times the work. It's not that simple, because you've then got to mold them around each other and make things work together. And it's not as simple as going, right, okay, perhaps you're running three plays in different areas. Again, not the same. You're trying to make everything work together. Do you rely heavily on others doing certain jobs for you, or do you find actually it's easier to kind of have a grasp on everything yourself and sort of go, right, I'll do that bit and that bit and that bit, and then I know where each thing is at?
I'm a bit of a control freak, it has to be said. I do like to know what's going on, but I have one of the company, Neil, is going to do some social media for me, because that's not my strong point. And it is quite time consuming.
Yeah, and sadly, a hugely important part of what we do now. I mean, I guess it's naive these days to think you can get by without having some sort of social media presence. And obviously, our listeners, followers, whatever, they're well aware that we post quite a lot, and it is enormously time consuming, but equally has massive benefits, because I think it's probably the biggest way of selling now is to use the social media. And I think it's perhaps in a way sort of replaced word of mouth. It's kind of word of keyboard sort of thing between friends and stuff. I don't know, but I think that is such a huge part of what we do now. And do you think, or would you say that because you're producing all three at once, that they sort of lend into each other? So by getting someone's attention with one, the chances are they'll see the others, or do you kind of rely on the fact it's three different audiences you're almost promoting to?
No, I'm hoping it is kind of one homogenous audience. We have a season ticket, so it is cheaper if you buy a ticket for all three plays.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's why all three titles are on the poster. And people who come to all three get to know the actors, because the actors, sadly, we've only got Drew for one play. But Neil,
I don't know about sadly, but we'll leave it sadly for now. I think you'll be changing your mind eventually.
We've got two actors who are in all three plays. About four actors who are in two of the plays. So the audience really get to know them. I was an usher for many years at the National, when Trevor Nunn had his, what he called the ensemble season, where they had the same group of actors doing very different plays in the three different venues.
Yeah.
And I got the audience's sense of it then, because you really felt you knew these actors when you saw them take on different roles. I remember standing at the tube on the way home, and I almost went to speak to one of them, and then I had to remind myself, no, he doesn't know who you are. You know him, but he doesn't know you. But we get that. We used to get that at Sidmouth. You get stopped in the street by people talking to you about the play that you were in last week. So you really do get known by the audience. So yes, I'm hoping they all come to all three plays.
I was regularly stopped on the beach and on the seafront in Sidmouth. We're walking into rehearsal rooms, going, "So you're the murderer this week," and and you go, "What are you doing next?" I was like, I couldn't possibly tell you, But you would hear the audience go, "Oh yeah, he murdered her last week," and then you think, "Well, oh, they're married this week." Yes. And that was lovely. I mean, that community feeling and the idea that people were following you through was and I think that in many respects we talked about what weekly rep and rep did for actors, but I mean equally local theatres that people go to regularly. I think that's very important, because it can often be seen as a building that you go to see. To see one show during the summer, you might go to see a panto there, but the rest of the year it doesn't happen. And I think people don't regard theatre or theatres as buildings they can visit regularly and as a community hub. I love it when theatres have, the doors are open during the day. You can go and have a cup of coffee in the, in the bar. There's exhibitions on, and people go, it's like a community centre, and then the fact that it has a show on in the evening, which you can also go and see, is it's like this is. So I think rep seasons in theatres and around the country, that fosters community and people going to the theatre, as you said. The thinking of the through casting of of the season. And I know why I'm only doing one, and that's fine. It's but next year I'll be in all 4, 3, 5, however many you fancy doing. But I mean, you do, as you said, you have to choose the plays. On obviously they've got to be commercial. Gaslight, the one that I'm the first one of the season, the one that I'm in, is I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful thriller. There's been 2 fantastic films made. Ingrid Bergman was amazing in the version she was in with Charles Boyer. But then, you've got your leading lady from that, who then goes into the next play the next week, and you've got to go, well, is she going to? So when you're looking at that, do you have, I mean, I've seen other producers do it. They literally have like a chessboard, moving characters around and looking at them and going and thinking, well, she can wear her costume next week. Has that been any element of that going down?
I do have a spreadsheet, yes.
Don't mention spreadsheets. Sam loves a spreadsheet.
I do love a spreadsheet because they're so efficient and effective. That's why.
Yes, I've got all the plays and age ranges. So the young woman in Gaslight will also play the young woman in Taking Steps.
Right.
Yeah.
Going through.
So that's a big part of the casting then as well. Again, a different scenario because, yes, there are some instances, Drew, as an example, where there aren't roles that you can literally pick someone up and drop them into for all 3. Probably because he's paying someone in their hundreds, I imagine, because he is that old and decrepit, and there just wasn't a really ancient person in the other 2. I'm sure that's the reason. Or everyone needed to be over 5 foot tall for the latter 2, and obviously Drew is 4'8" or whatever he is. But that aside,
no, I'm only 4'10".
So you're still taller than Drew. Well, that's fine then. But is there an element of kind of looking at that before you've even chosen the plays, going, well, I am planning on doing all 3, so I want to minimize the amount of actors I'm bringing in, or do the plays take precedent and then you go, can I not shoehorn, but can I sort of, where do you sit on that? Again, another massive conundrum.
Yes, I had a whole list of plays, and on my spreadsheet I've got the breakdown of the age ranges, and so I really wanted to choose ones that I could use the same person for more than one play, ideally all 3. It's cost effective, and it means that the audience get to know them, and they also work better as a company. One season at Sidmouth, the last play we did was An Inspector Calls, which I'm surprised we got the rights for, but we did. But it's a really difficult play. But because the actors had all worked together for 3 months, they knew each other really well. And so we were able to get a lot further in that week's rehearsal than we would have done if we tried to do it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, company shorthand is really useful, isn't it? You do get that, and you do know how people work. I mean, I've done 2 seasons at Sidmouth, and by the end of 12 weeks, you go, I know what you're going to do there, and I think you're going to do that, and okay, yeah. So that when you've only got 4 days to rehearse, and you are living in each other's pockets, and you kind of have to get on. Equally, you do occasionally go, I don't think I can bear another half an hour of him/her, they, them. I might kill them. And yeah, there's that lovely moment of, I had a couple of plays where I didn't have much to do, which is lovely. It's like, well, you got a big role that week, you got a little one that week, and you got a big role next week. But it was also nice just to sit in the dressing room going, I don't have to work with them. I don't have to be there tonight. All wonderful people, but there is that lovely moment where you go, oh, good. I got time to myself, because it can just mess with your head, But I took the risk and did 12 weeks a week with my wife. And we weren't married at the time. We've been together for many a long year, but it didn't stop us getting married in the future. So, there you go.
Wow. It does work, is what you've proved there somehow.
Yeah.
I always do try when bringing people into the company that not only are they good at what they do, but they're nice people that we'll all get on with as much as possible. Because I think it's well,
I mean, you have to consider.
Yeah, well, I'm very much looking forward. I played. Gaslight is for the. I mean, I'm sure people have worked out now where the phrase gaslighting comes from. Spoiler alerts, but I mean, the husband and the wife in this, his manipulation of her led to the phrase gaslighting, which has come to the fore recently. It's a beautiful play. The season start. When does the season start? I mean, when do I have to know it by?
1st of August, ideally.
1st of August. Yeah. So you're running
For
through
the first show. I
August.
think it's probably best, Drew. If you know it at that point, it might be quite useful.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I'll probably, I'll be fine. I'll make it.
Could be useful too.
Yeah. So and it's the I mean, why did you choose the Marine Theatre as well in Lyme Regis, that beautiful little theatre?
You know Vernon Thompson?
I do.
Well, he's been running his own rep seasons in the Bournemouth area.
Yeah.
Theatres he'd been at weren't working. One of them hasn't reopened since the Unwelcome Visitor. So he and I were going to work together, and we looked at a few venues. But he's decided this summer he's got a project he's been doing in London, so I decided to go it alone. But the Marine said yes, they'd be interested in hosting a rep season.
Fantastic.
So it's all I needed.
That's it. Yes, you can come. I mean, it's beautiful. It looks over the sea, and it's just gorgeous.
From one of the dressing rooms, you've got the most beautiful view of Lyme Bay.
Fantastic.
Do you have a harder task selling rep to a theatre than perhaps if you were saying that I'm going to come in with this play, it's going to run for 3 weeks? That's it. It's sort of straightforward because there are more complications to this, and because, as you say, it's not as common as it once was and not used so much. Are theatres slightly more reluctant, perhaps, to take it on, do you think?
No, I don't think they are, actually, because the complications don't really affect them to the same extent. And it means we've got 15 performances, but it's of 3 different plays. So they're not having to try and fill 15 nights. No. They're having to try and fill 3 sets of 5 nights. So I think from their point of view, it's probably easier. But they're just not used to having theatre. A lot of these theatres and other ones I've worked at, like the Palace Theatre in Redditch, they have comedians, they have tribute bands, they have one-night stands, lots of great stuff. They're all really good entertainment, but they're not theatre, and they don't have a theatre audience. Yeah. And that's the problem, building up that theatre audience. Because Charles Vance, who Drew and I have both worked for, had a summer season in Wolverhampton at the Grand Theatre, and they gave him 8 weeks because there's not normally much else going on in the summer, so it's a cheap way for them to fill it. But he did it for many years, so he really built up a large following of people. But it does take time. Yeah. So yes, this year is a bit of a gamble. It's
we're slowly winding up there. But before, let's big sell moment. So Go for it. Give us the big sell.
Oh, what can I tell you? Summer season of 3 wonderful plays. Yes. So Gaslight, as we've talked about, great psychological drama. Then a comedy, Taking Steps by Alan Ayckbourn, the most prolific and well-performed living playwright. Bordering on fast, very funny. Mistaken letters, mistaken all sorts of things. And the final play, Dial M for Murder by Frederick Knott, made famous by the Hitchcock film. Indeed. So everybody knows that. Another great thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Right.
At the Marine Theatre, 1st to the 20th of August. Tickets available from their website, marinetheatre.com.
Look at that.
Perfect. Look at that.
It used to be on QVC as well, Sue. Something like that. Obviously, other online and TV selling things are available.
Advertising.
Yeah. Don't want to give them bias. But Sue, it's been absolutely fabulous talking to you. Thank you so much for chatting to us. And so many sort of like revelations with it, going from dressing to producing to devising and all these little things. And I think it just cements the fact that we talk about how almost everyone in this industry is multifaceted, and you can have lots of different interests and end up going in paths that perhaps you never imagined you would, but still get to enjoy it just as much. Now, there are also moments, of course, in our industry and in our careers that maybe we don't enjoy so much, or that are completely crazy, or have this like long-lasting effect on us, but perhaps not necessarily always for the right reasons. Now, you've had a very busy career, shall we say. You must have a story that pops to mind that you could tell us to finish up with, something that maybe didn't go as planned, or that sticks out in your mind, perhaps not for the right reasons, or equally for the right reasons. But there must be some sort of anecdote that you dine out on, as we like to say. Have you got something we can leave our listeners with to finish off?
Well, there's always things in live theatre, particularly when you're doing weekly rep and you are slightly under rehearsed. I remember doing a Durbridge play, and we told the front of house what time, what time the interval was. So they'd been told how many scenes, and so we got close to that time, and the lights went down on the previous scene. They hadn't realised there was a very short scene, so when those lights went down, they thought it was the interval. Opened the doors, light poured in, audience started pouring out, curtain goes up, and the actors are on stage thinking, what do we do? And I had to leave the auditorium, run round to the box and go, it's the interval.
I mean,
Not now.
No. What do you do as an actor in that perspective? I mean, I guess you're caught in two minds there, aren't you? Do we go, well, they're going to an interval, we'll tack that onto the start of the second, but 99 times out of 100, the end of the first act has some sort of cliffhanger or some sort of big moment. Quite odd to suddenly have that at the beginning of your second act and then to carry on. But yeah, I mean, as you say, live theatre, everything is unpredictable. You never know what's coming next. But isn't that just the beauty of it? And no performance is ever the same. And when you're about to do 15 performances of 3 different plays, certainly they're never going to be the same. But all we can do, Sue, and obviously by proxy yourself as well, Drew, is wish you the very, very best for summer season. And say once again, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us. It's been absolutely fascinating. And I think perhaps we should try and get you back on again in the future when you've done these 3 weeks with this numpty, and just see if you've got any hair left and if you're ever going to do rep again at that point, or whether he's finally put the final nail in the coffin and gone, no, that's it. No more working with this idiot.
Yeah, well, you'll have to come on back on with a shadow of your former self, or glowing with glory, which I'm sure you will be. But yeah, Sue, thank you so much. I promise I will go away now and learn the lines, and we will be seeing each other very soon for rehearsals. But thank you. I would say we will take all the links and connections, and anybody wants a trip down to Lyme Regis, which is a gorgeous part of the country. We will be there with Gaslight, Taking Steps, Dial for Murder. Sue, thank you so much. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Take care. See you later on.
Take care. Bye-bye, Sue. Bye.
Well, as I think I said early on, fascinating, entertaining, just the perfect guest. What a lovely, lovely lady Sue is. And what an absolute maniac to be wanting to direct you for the second time. Is that right? So
it is, yes.
She's come back for more, mate. She's
come back. Cheers. I mean, that it has to be said that, I mean, thankfully, she's an expert in so many spheres of the business. And we heard there, from dresser to producer, from, company stage manager. She's done the lot, and she is, it has to be said, always incredibly organized, which, when you're doing 3 plays in 3 weeks, she really is going to have to be organized for that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be a bit nuts to be in this industry, and she's taken the bull by the horns there. As said, not 1, not 2, but 3 different shows all at once in a short space of time. But I am sure she will absolutely nail it. They will all be fantastic, even the one that you're in. But on a serious note, anyone that does happen to be in or near Lyme Regis or wants to take a trip down there, it's going to be a fabulous summer season of plays. Go and see one of them, go and see all of them. But most importantly, go and support local or regional theatre, because
absolutely
we still don't get sort of the amount of support that we need compared to some of the bigger ones. And equally, rep theatre is so important. It's almost a British staple, and it's helped the industry grow, and it's not done enough, as Sue was talking about, because it's so difficult and because it's not as popular as it once was. So the support of audiences is what makes it work. So we just, please do go along.
I mean, and it has
to see you, mate, if I could, but I'm slightly busy doing
you're doing your own bit, aren't you? Yeah. But I mean, it not only supporting, but this theatre, it has no backing. There's no money in this. It is, no Arts Council grants, and it lives and dies on ticket sales. So, truly commercial piece of theatre, and as you said, very brave lady, not only for working with me, but also, she's putting her money where her mouth is. And if that doesn't prove that theatre is viable and enterprising, nothing does, mate. So do you know what I mean? It's important to be said. So yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to hearing updates once you're in there. I mean, we'll probably be podcasting in amongst rehearsals,
In amongst all that
and stuff. I mean, we're recording this one slightly early, but at the point this goes out, I'll be well into rehearsals for my shows. So it's a very, very busy but very, very entertaining and enjoyable summer ahead. So please do come and support us where you can. And if you can't, we understand it's not that straightforward. People are busy and money is tight. Just tune in and listen to us every now and then, like you're doing right now, or give us a watch on YouTube, because that means just as much. Because
absolutely,
we as a podcast need the support just like the theatres and the productions do. So please continue to do what you're doing, because it means the world to us, and it's so important. And that's enough.
Because let's face it, Sam, we're going to continue to do this because we're back next week.
We are.
We're back next week.
We are. Just you and I. No fascinating guest next time, but
no.
But yeah, I'm sure we can make the most of that. So till then, cheers to you. Cheers
mate.
And cheers to everyone else out there listening and watching. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.